Welcome. I would like to welcome you to the Marriage Catalyst online course webinar, Build a Stronger and Healthier Marriage in 4 weeks. So the question is, who is this webinar for? In your participant guide, if you had a chance to download that, there are a few fill in the blanks, and this is the first one. This webinar is for married couples with busy schedules who are ready to grow their relationship. Let me repeat that. Married couples with busy schedules who are ready to grow their relationship. Now, as we get started, we want you to sit back, relax, and take plenty of notes. So welcome to the webinar. And there are 4 things that we want you to consider as we move through this. Number 1, reflect on where your marriage could be. What was the original dream for your marriage? What do you and your spouse envision for the future? I'd like you to reflect on your recurring challenges. What are those problems or disagreements that you and your spouse encounter on a regular basis? Number 3, consider a different approach. We want to help you practice proven principles for building a stronger and healthier marriage. And finally, grow your marriage intentionally. Having a good plan to help your marriage thrive is the first step, and we certainly recommend that. Working through this plan is worth the investment of your time, energy, and resources. So welcome to the webinar. What is our goal? Our goal is to help you build a stronger and healthier marriage. When it's all said and done, that's what we want to help you do. We want your marriage to be stronger and healthier, and we know we can help you do that. So we're going to look at 5 different general areas. The first one, and here's another fill in the blank, relational challenges. Relational challenges. What are some of the major frustrations, hurts, and difficulties faced by married couples today? We're going to review those. Number 2, what are the negative implications? When you don't solve these challenges, who are the people most affected by these problems? And guess what? There are many. Number 3, how does our online course help couples? Here's where we're going to give you some practical answers to some case studies. How can the Marriage Catalyst course, how can it help you? How can it help you build a stronger and healthier marriage? Well, we're going to show you in part by giving you some examples, which leads us to number 4, stories of relational strength and health. What benefits have other couples experienced after taking our course? What can you and your spouse expect to learn? These are good questions. And finally, there are 3 plans to start building your marriage. We're going to review those 3 plans with you and give you the options that are available today to help you get started. So let's continue. At the end, what we would like for you to do is just hang on to the end of the webinar. And once you do, we're going to give you a special offer just for watching the webinar that's going to be given to you at the very end of the webinar. The other thing we'd like you to know is if you have any questions along the way, text us your questions along with your full name to 786-554-0312, 786-554-0312, and please be patient. So text us your questions along with your full name, and we will get back with you. So what is the big problem that we see today? And we've already hinted to this a little earlier. Most married couples are too busy to work on growing their relationship. They're too busy in their career. They're too busy at school, getting their degree, getting their certificates. They're too busy with children, too busy taking care of elderly parents. And that is a huge problem. So most married couples today, they're just simply too busy to work on growing their relationship. Now, can you or your spouse relate? Have you said these things or have you thought about these things? If you had, well, we want to help. We're too busy and too tired to work on growing our relationship. Silence has increased. We don't talk very much anymore. When we speak, we consistently argue about the same things. Love, respect, and laughter have left our relationship. Forgiving one another has been a recurring issue. We struggle in our sex life. Our passion for one another is simply gone. Our marriage does not have a clear purpose. Our marriage does not have a clear direction. Can you or your spouse relate to any one of these? If so, don't worry, there is help. We say that there are 3 C's to start building your marriage: commitment, coach, and course of action. The first thing is commitment. Rings for many years have symbolized what we call eternal commitment. In other words, when you made a vow to your spouse and you made a vow to one another, this was a commitment for life until God separated you by death. So what you need to do to start building your marriage is, first of all, go back to that commitment. This is a promise that you made to your spouse that you would be together forever. And there were certainly witnesses to attest to that commitment, to that promise. The second thing you need is a coach. You need someone who has walked this valley before and has gotten through this on the other side with success. Now, it doesn't mean the coach is perfect. It doesn't mean the coach hasn't made mistakes. I've made many mistakes, and I could probably write books about all the mistakes that I've made in my marriage. But seriously, you need a coach to help you walk through your commitment. And lastly, you need a course of action. It's not enough to simply have a commitment. It's not enough to simply have a coach. You need a plan. You need a course of action to help you get on track, to help you see some of the realities in your marriage, some of the attitude adjustments that you need to make. So we believe this course of action is a combination of online training, couples discussion, and coaching. And we're going to walk you through these things and tell you a little bit more about this. Now, let's continue. Who does our online course serve? It serves busy married couples, as we've already said, engaged couples and newlyweds, those that are looking to get married or those that have recently been married. We serve married couples without children, married couples with children, multi-ethnic couples, interracial couples, couples seeking to rebuild trust. So if you can identify with any of these areas, then this course is for you. Before we get further into our study and our time together, I'd like to help you understand 7 problems every couple inevitably faces. And don't worry if you miss any of these, we're going to review this one by one. You learn that your partner can't really be your everything. Your phone will come between you and your partner. Have you been there? Number 3, the sex isn't always going to be hot. Number 4, you're not going to meet all of your hashtag relationship goals. Number 5, your partner won't let go of their bad habits. Number 6, money will come between you and your spouse. Number 7, monogamy will prove to be a challenge. So these are 7 problems that every couple inevitably faces. These are things that are happening today. Now, can you identify with this? When he yells or when she yells, I remain silent. I don't know what to say anymore. She never puts me first, or he never puts me first. She loves her family more than she loves me, or he loves his family more than he loves me. Let's go back to the first one. You learn your partner can't really be your everything. Inside the HuffPost, we find 7 problems that couples inevitably face. We expect too much of one another. Our expectations are too high. Our standards are way too high, even higher than the ones we have for ourselves. Number 2, it is impossible for our spouse to meet all of our demands. That's not what they were designed for. And listen, if you have unhealthy expectations of your spouse and they're constantly in their face and they're constantly held to this unreasonable standard, you're going to have issues and you're going to continue to have challenges in your marriage. And third, we add unhealthy pressure to our spouse. So these unhealthy demands, these unrealistic expectations, you know what they do? They give you and your spouse more pressure. And none of us need more pressure in our marriage. Listen to the following statements. Can you feel the pressure? You should already know how I feel about this. Why can't you ever be there on time? Now, I'm not saying we don't address these things, but listen, these statements add an enormous amount of pressure to your relationship. There's a better way to say these things. There's a better way to address them. Number two, your phone will come between you and your partner. I read something the other day, and it said that people touch their phone about 5,247 times per day. Wow, that's a lot. But here's the reality. Your phone can easily become a constant distraction and interruption in your marriage. I constantly have to remind myself, put it down, be in the moment, because Twitter and Facebook and news updates are constantly hitting my phone. And when you are with your spouse, when I am with my spouse, we need to put our phones down. We need to stop being so distracted by everything on our phone. Notice the next point. Your phone will disconnect your relationship. This is true. We've seen this already. It's going to create an immeasurable amount of stress. So manage your phone. Don't allow your phone to manage you. Number three, your phone can become a temptation. Listen, you can get on Instagram or Snapchat or any one of these social media pages, and you can see people with clothes and even without clothes at a moment's notice. Someone posts something that is not proper, not appropriate, and your phone can automatically become a temptation. So if you're following people that are putting provocative photos, just remove them. You don't need the temptation. Don't allow your phone to become a temptation. Have you said this or have you heard this in your marriage? I have to respond to this text now. I have to respond to this text now. And the funny thing is, as I'm reading this, I'm actually getting a notification on my phone. Now, I must take this call. Have you ever said that? I must take this call right now. Well, I can tell you, you don't have to. Number three, the sex isn't always going to be hot. No couple is immune to sexual frustrations and problems. Listen, our bodies change over the years. As I go through this webinar with you, my wife and I have been married for over 28 years. I got married at 20 years old. My wife was slightly older than me. I won't give you her age, but she was slightly older. But listen, our bodies have changed over the years. I am not the same person that I was at 20, and my wife is not the same person that she was at a younger age either. So our bodies change, and because of this change, we're going to have struggles. If we have health issues, that's going to affect our sex life. So this expectation that our sex life is going to be, red hot all of the time, that's simply not reality. The next point says, real intimacy is more than sex. Listen, real intimacy is much more than sex. Real intimacy is the conversation. It's when you and your spouse are just holding hands and walking and enjoying your company. It's when you're sitting together and hugging or kissing each other, or you're talking through some things that are really important. Erwin McManus said, our souls crave intimacy. This is much more than sex. This is connecting with our spouse at a deeper level. Now, here's what we know. Relational intimacy is the catalyst for physical intimacy. And in our course, in our online training, we're going to walk you through how to build relational intimacy with your spouse. Because here's what we know. As relational intimacy increases, so does physical intimacy. If you want to improve your sex life, you have to improve the relational intimacy with your spouse. Now, have you ever felt this? Have you ever said this? I don't feel like we're connecting. Or, I'm too tired. Or, we need to have more sex. There's a lot going on here, but this is the reality in today's marriage. Number 4, you're not going to meet all of your hashtag relationship goals. Here's the reality. Couples often have unrealistic expectations of one another, as we've mentioned already. We often overlook the primary love language of our spouse. Did you know that you and your spouse have a primary love language? Yes, it's true. Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch. Now, this is not an exclusive list, but Dr. Gary Chapman gives us these 5 love languages in his book, The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts. And I recommend, if you have not read this book or listened to the audiobook, please pick it up. It is worth the investment of your time. You can do this before you get started or after you get started in this course. But listen, this is a great book to read. So I encourage you to read it. Now, if you're wondering, you say, hey, Marcel, what's your love language? For me, it's physical touch. For my wife, it's receiving gifts. So you can imagine we're different. We need different things. We receive love in different ways. But guess what? If her love language is receiving gifts, I need to make sure I'm being thoughtful in the area of giving gifts and cards and things that really make a difference to her. Physical touch is important to me, so it's important that we hold hands. It's important when I see her that I give her a hug and a kiss. And the more you understand the love language of your spouse, the better your relational intimacy will be. Now, again, have you ever said this? Have you heard this recently? We need to plan more date nights. I feel loved when you cook for me. I love it when you hold my hand. These things are really expressing our love language, how we feel love from our spouse. Number 5, your partner won't let go of their bad habits. Listen, we all have bad habits. Couples often argue over the same behavioral issues over and over again. It's happened in my marriage, and it'll certainly happen in yours. Although most bad habits are not fatal, they frustrate us deeply. Desperation sets in when we cannot, quote unquote, fix their bad habits. So your partner will have bad habits, and so will you. But listen, it's not fatal. And in this course, we're going to help walk you through how to work through them. Have you ever said this? Have you ever heard this? You never pick up after yourself. You always complain about my mom. You watch the game and ignore me. Or maybe you listen to your show and don't pay any attention to me. Or you go outside and don't come back for hours. These are things that we need to address. And these are things that bring frustration into our relationship. Number 6, money will come between you and your spouse. Now, if that's true in your marriage, just raise your hand. I know I can't see you, but go ahead and raise your hand, because it's true. You will have financial challenges in your marriage. Couples often have different philosophies about finances. One may be a spender, the other is probably a saver. Couples often argue over money more than anything else. Did you know that? Financial disagreements, listen, financial disagreements are the leading cause of divorce year after year after year. But notice a simple diagram here provided to us by the Ramsey Group. Couples in healthy marriages talk more about money. They really talk about money more. 29%, those that are in okay or in crisis marriages, talk about money. But notice, 54% of couples talk daily or weekly with their spouse about money. These are considered great marriages. So don't run from the conversation. It doesn't matter if you make $30,000 a year as a couple, or $130,000 a year, or $430,000 a year. It really doesn't matter. You have to talk about finances, because regardless of how much you make, you still need a budget. You still need to send your money to the right places, and you need to be in agreement over your finances. Have you heard this? Have you said this? You're constantly spending too much. We don't need to buy that now. We don't need to save more money. we have enough. Well, this is common in modern day marriages. And lastly, number 7, monogamy will prove to be a challenge. Have you heard this saying? The grass is not greener on the other side. And that's true. You are married. You made a commitment to your spouse, and that is a forever commitment. The grass is not greener on the other side. The answer to your marriage struggles is not an affair. That will destroy your relationship. But notice this: emotional affairs lead us to physical affairs. Affairs rarely start with just physical attraction. There's an emotional attraction. There's a love language that someone else outside your spouse begins to meet. They start paying attention. They start giving you more conversation, or giving your spouse more conversation. And guess what? It leads to problems. And that emotional affair, once the relationship develops, leads couples to physical affairs. Now, what do you have to do? Couples must establish clear guardrails to protect their relationship. There are areas that others are not invited to participate in. You have to control and you have to manage your emotional life. You cannot allow someone into that area. Now, have you ever said this? Have you ever thought this? Have you ever heard this? We laugh, text, and talk often in regards to somebody else outside of your marriage. They really understand how I feel. They always praise my hard work. They notice. They pay attention. They always compliment me. Watch out. These are areas of danger. So there are negative implications when our marriage is unhealthy. Here are a few, and they're in your notes. No meaningful conversations, stress, depression, and anxiety, broken dreams, broken families, increased temptations and harmful habits, unfulfilled relationships, separation and divorce, isolation and deep pain, anger, shouting, and violence. Notice, no laughter, no trust, no strength, no hope. What happens when you do nothing about your marriage, about investing and developing and growing your marriage? Well, all of these things happen at one time or another, and eventually you give up because all hope has been lost. What happens when you have children in the mix? They get emotionally stressed. There's depression and anxiety. They perform poorly at school. Their grades begin to deteriorate. There are increased health risks, increased risks of teen pregnancy. They believe that the separation and the fights and the divorce is all their fault. There's an increased risk of incarceration. There are countless studies that show this. There's an increased risk of mental health problems. There's an increased risk of drug and alcohol abuse. And finally, there's resentment toward one or both parents. Listen, your relationship issues in your marriage directly impact others, but more than anyone else, they directly impact your children. I live in Florida, and after doing some research at the Martindale Group, here's something that I found to be very interesting. How much does it cost, and how long does it take for a divorce? Listen, the average cost in Florida is $13,500. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But listen, $13,500 is the average cost in divorce. And what I think is even worse than the cost, what is the average duration? 15 months. When couples do nothing, when couples just let their marriage go on cruise control, that's when they can expect. Now, if we add children to the mix, how much does it cost? Well, $15,500. Wow, that's a big number. And again, the average duration, 15 months. If you look below, if there are issues, it can go up to $25,400. And it could even go to 19 months with children. Now, if there are Alimony disputes that affect the cost and the duration of the divorce, and it's back and forth. I mean, you're talking an average of 17,700, 9,700 if there's none. Now, you can do your own research, you can go through this, but here's what I know. It is wise to invest in your marriage. If we're looking at the average divorce cost of 13,500 without kids, 15,500 with kids, 15,500 with alimony, and it's a little bit more, 17,000 now. Listen, the average duration, 15 months. Why put yourself through this? Why put you and your spouse through this? It is wise to invest in your marriage. So, how does our online course help couples? Here are a few things to write down. Number one, we help you develop a plan and a path to intentionally grow your marriage. You need a plan and you need a path. If not, it's simply not going to happen. You leverage an affordable way to invest in your relationship. You already saw the cost of a divorce, but you have to make an investment in your marriage. Listen, we all love to take great vacations and spend, some of our income tax money or savings and just go and have a great vacation. Is your marriage not worth more than a great vacation? I believe the answer is a resounding yes. Number three, you learn proven principles for relational success. These are principles that have helped many couples, and they will help you and your spouse if you both commit to making the adjustments that are needed. Number four, you start practicing good habits for your marriage to thrive. When I used to play sports, we went to practice all the time, particularly in baseball. We had to practice, and we had to practice the right technique and the right forms. Why? Because good practice leads to good performance. And in your marriage, you need to develop good habits and good practices. So let me share with you a few stories of relational strength and health. And before we do that, I'd like to make you this commitment. In this course, you're going to learn proven principles used by many couples to build a stronger and healthier marriage. So let's talk about Jason and Cindy. Well, what were some of the relational challenges? Family relationships were causing big problems in their marriage. Cindy followed her family rather than her husband. Jason struggled to communicate sexual problems. So these things added up to some serious frustrations in their marriage. There were some principles they began to apply. They started making decisions together to prioritize their relationship. They worked together to create healthy boundaries with their family. They talked through sexual problems and increased communication in this area. And finally, relational benefits. Family relationships are now at a much better place today. Thank God. Cindy has learned how to follow the lead of her husband and talk through things together before just saying yes to her family. Jason now talks more openly with Cindy about his sexual problems, and today this couple is in a much better place. What about Leo and Patricia? Well, they struggled because they spoke to one another in destructive ways. They both had unrealistic expectations of one another. There was mistrust, and this mistrust had greatly increased over the years. But things started to change in their relationship. Love and respect principles were learned and practiced. They started practicing the one another's that we find in our study. They both agreed to hit the reset button and forgive one another. They started over, essentially. And the benefits to the relationship, well, the conversations in their home changed from highly destructive, discouraging, to more understanding, more caring, and encouraging. They both experienced, notice, grace, mercy, and forgiveness. This didn't even appear in their marriage before. And if it did, it was so small, it wasn't noticeable. And what about Nelson and Jennifer? Well, they both leveraged divorce to control one another and threaten one another. They were highly critical of their behavior. Nelson did not feel included in family decisions. So there was a lot of conflict in these areas. But they started applying proven principles. They both worked on removing all threats and all destructive talk. They both practiced praising the strengths of their spouse. They started taking steps to build relational unity, one step at a time. And what were the direct benefits to their relationship? Well, they stopped using divorce in their conversations. They completely removed it. They both identified and stopped destructive talk faster. They called each other out when they were going in that direction. Third, they started creating an environment of encouragement. And finally, both of them stopped being divisive in family relationships. Now they were united. Now they became one. In this course, I'm going to teach you the principles that my wife and I have applied to build our 28 plus year marriage. That's what I commit to do. So what's our story? Well, Yami and I struggled in our communication. We made key decisions without consulting one another. But hey, if I could be totally honest, I was the one that made key decisions without consulting Yami. And this led to some serious issues in our marriage. Our past negatively affected our intimacy, and we had to work through this. We had regular disagreements about saving and spending. I love to save. Yami loved to spend. And we had to work through these things. As you can imagine, this created some serious issues. Now, here are some principles that we applied, and there were many others. We talked daily for at least 20 minutes in person. We have a little island in our kitchen, and we would just stop and talk about our day, about plans, about how we were feeling. That made a world of difference in our marriage. We made key decisions together and spent Saturday mornings primarily planning our calendars, synchronizing our calendars and looking at our finances and planning our finances. And here's the key word: together. We did this together. What were the relational benefits? Well, there was deeper trust built and understanding of one another. I understood her better. She understood me better. Genuine forgiveness, healing, and restoration. And finally, more meaningful conversations and relational intimacy. And I can tell you, because of that increased relational intimacy, that directly affected our sex life for the better. So here's a picture of my family. My son Luke there on the top left. There's Yami and I on the bottom. On the top left with Luke and I, that was a missions trip we took to Kenya. We had a great time, 2 weeks bonding. We went on a safari. In the center there, that's Yami and I at our church. We were having a renewing the vows day, and we participated in helping couple renew their vows to one another. Top right, that's our family at the beach. We always wear matching shirts and we take family pictures together. And on the bottom right, that's Savannah, my daughter, when she was little. Back up to the top right, Savannah is on the far right in the Dolphins jersey. That's Yami, obviously, in the middle. Luke, my son, and Crystal, his new wife, there on the left. So I'm very thankful to God for the family that He's given me. And I realize that if it weren't for us following God and following the principles that He outlines in His Word, we would not be having this webinar today. So let me tell you a little bit about myself briefly, some training, some of the books that I've written, etc. Well, first of all, regarding training, I've trained over 1,000 couples and individuals in my lifetime, at least up to this point. I've led over 50 conferences, seminars, workshops, and retreats where I've served as a conference speaker or a facilitator. As I mentioned before, Yami and I have been married for over 28 years. Over 28 years married to one wife, Yami, and our marriage today is better than ever. Now, I'm still learning, she's still learning, but we're growing deeper in our relationship. For the last several years, I've had the opportunity to write over 18 books. There are business books, there are books related to spiritual growth, and two of these books, one is Marriage Catalyst, the other one is Matrimonio por Diseño, which is a Spanish version of it. They were written and published, and they are both available on Amazon. Lastly, I've trained in seven different countries over my years. That's my international experience, and I'm deeply grateful for all those who've been a part of the training with me. Now, here's the question you and your spouse have to decide. What choice will you make? I believe there are four options. Do nothing. If you do nothing, you get nothing. If you do nothing, nothing changes. And I don't think that's a wise option. Number two, hope that things get better. That's like thinking, well, I hope I lose weight this year. What's the reality? Well, if you and I don't get on the treadmill, if you and I don't manage our sugar intake, our, carb intake, etc., nothing's going to change. Hope is simply not enough. Number three, settle for an ordinary marriage. Listen, I know for sure you did not marry your spouse to say, I'm marrying this person because I really want a plain, ordinary marriage. No, we married our spouse because we wanted an exciting marriage, a fulfilled marriage, something that we could enjoy, something that we could look forward to as we're leaving work every day and heading home. Finally, start building a stronger and healthier marriage in 4 weeks. I believe this is the wise choice. Start building a stronger and healthier marriage in 4 weeks. So Jessica said, this helped me see the small details that are of great importance, but get overlooked because of daily routine. And that happens, right? Our daily routine sometimes gets in the way. Now, I believe there are 4 commitments to start building. Number 1, commit to intentionally grow your marriage. There has to be a commitment. Commit to invest time, energy, and finances. It's going to take time, it's going to take energy, it's going to take some money, and it's going to take intentionality. Number 3, commit to start a good training plan. You need a plan, a good plan to grow your marriage. And lastly, commit to make changes for your marriage to thrive. Here's one thing that I've come to understand. Your marriage, just like my marriage, is a mirror. Your spouse shows you what's ugly about you. Now, I don't mean physically ugly. I mean internally ugly. There are things in your character that your spouse points out. And guess what? She's right. He's right. And those things have to change. So your spouse should be able to do that in a way that is constructive and encouraging, but you have to be willing to accept those things and commit to change. And in the course, we show you how to do that. So here's the question sometimes people ask. Well, why take an online course? I've never taken an online marriage course. Well, first of all, an online marriage course is easy to start, track, and finish. It's easy to start, it's easy to track, and it's easy to finish. And that's one of the reasons. Number 2, you can take the course and watch it really from anywhere at any time. You can watch it on your tablet, you can watch it on your computer. We don't really recommend using it on your phone, but you can if you would like to, especially now. Phones are just getting bigger and bigger. So anywhere you have internet access, you can watch it, you can take the course. Number 3, we include free bonus materials within the online course. There are bonus articles, there are bonus videos, so you get much more than simply the weekly sessions. And lastly, number 4, it allows you to repeat sessions and test your knowledge in a fun way. We give you quizzes and a simple test that you and your spouse can take together and have a lot of fun in the process. Shirley said, this course helped me voice my appreciation to my husband in a way that he will understand. That's really important. Now, are you and your spouse ready to start building a stronger and healthier marriage? I hope by this point you are. So there are 3 plans to start building your marriage. The essential plan. This is a 4-week plan. We encourage couples to start here. We review the dream of your marriage. Number 2, how to establish a strong foundation for your marriage. Number 3, connecting to the right source in your marriage. And number 4, love and respect. In the 8-week course, The Breakthrough, we build on the first week. We talk about communication in week 5. In week 6, we look at how to make decisions together. Number 7, we talk about reigniting your sex life. Number 8, we talk about finances and getting your house in order. Then in the master class, which is a 12-week course, we build upon the first 2 weeks or the first 2 courses, but then we talk about in week 9, embracing forgiveness through grace, mercy, commitment, and faith. And forgiveness is a huge area. It's a huge area for couples to work through. And weeks 10, 11, and 12, we talk about keys to a growing marriage. So we help you talk or walk through creating habits, displaying love for your spouse, and really persevering through life's challenges. So we have 3 different plans, and we encourage you to begin with the first one, but you can certainly begin with the second or the third. Now, our published pricing is as follows. The Essential course is made up of 6 monthly installments of $398. Breakthrough is 6 monthly installments of $654, and the Masterclass is 6 monthly installments of $928. But I believe you might be ready to hear about our special offer. We have a special offer just for watching this webinar. And here it is. We called it the Build Your Marriage Special Offer. So instead of paying $398 for 6 monthly installments of $398 each, we're offering at a special offer today the Essential course for $297, 6 monthly installments, the Breakthrough course, $554, 6 monthly installments, and the Masterclass, 6 monthly installments of $828. That's a savings for you and your spouse. So let me tell you what you get in the process. You will get discounted online courses, whichever one you choose, and you will also get other discounts as well. Now, the course participant guide is a PDF download. It's included within the online training, and you also get some bonuses. You get bonus number 1, you get discounted rates for successive courses and future courses. We're going to add additional courses related to life skills, and you will get discounted just for being an alumni. And finally, we also give you a free 1-year devotional. We give you one in English, one in Spanish, and it's for you. It's called Walking with Jesus. This devotional is a devotional. It's a 5-day-a-week devotional that helps you and your spouse connect spiritually one day at a time. Now, Johann said this course will help you value your wife and family and reprioritize your life to invest in people, not in things. So you can start building a stronger marriage for less than a daily breakfast for 2. Now, I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy, if I can be totally honest, and my wife loves Starbucks. Again, we're very different, but we love each other. But if you went to Starbucks, for an example, and if you ordered 2 peppermint mochas and 2 turkey pesto paninis, you were hungry, you wanted a good breakfast to get you going, you're going to pay about $25 plus tax. Now, the Essential course is about $9.90 a day. So if you look at this on a 30-day scale, one day for 30 days, you would pay $9.90 a day for the Essential course. For the Breakthrough course, it would be $18.46. So these two would still be less than breakfast for 2 at Starbucks. And the Masterclass is slightly over, but realistically, when you add tax, it's just about the same. So you can start building a stronger marriage for less than a daily breakfast for 2. So let's have a fun daily and monthly comparison. So now we already said the monthly 6-month installment for the Essential course is $9.90 a day. If you look below, again, that comes out to $25.04 for daily breakfast. So monthly, you're looking at $297 for the Essential course, $554 for the Breakthrough, and the Masterclass $828. But notice below, if you have breakfast every day with your spouse at Starbucks, That's $751.20 a month for each month. So I believe what we're doing here is more important than having breakfast every day at Starbucks. I believe this is an investment in your marriage and in your life. Millie said, this can help couples acknowledge what is the root cause of unhealthy circumstances and behaviors in their home, and then create a system that works for their family. So if you and your spouse say, well, we're ready to begin, then here are 3 easy steps. Number 1, go to www.imaginemobilelearning.com, and you can just type in this link /buy-online-courses, or if you go to imaginemobilelearning.com, then go to services, and then once you click on services below, you will see buy online courses. Number 2, select your desired course plan and just click buy now or get it now. And the 3 course plans will be available. Number 3, check your email over the next 24 to 48 hours. We're going to send you a login with instructions. It's a short video. And then we're going to get on the phone to make sure that you feel comfortable with the process and help you to get started. So don't panic. We're going to send you documentation. We're going to send you a video. And then we're going to get on the phone together to make sure that you and your spouse understand how to move things forward. Now, again, if you have any questions, you can always text us day or night, 786-554-0312, 786-554-0312. And here's our promise to you. We want you to try it out 100% risk-free for 30 days. If you're not satisfied with the quality of the content, you just send us an email within 30 days to request a full refund, and we will refund you the money. So there's really no risk in getting started with us. Nick said, the course gave me many insights on what marriage actually means and how beneficial it can be to do things the right way instead of being impatient. Boy, I know I've been impatient. Have you? So here's a quick example of what happens once we send you the, information that everything's been approved. Then with your email, you're going to go to the website, log in with the password 123456. And then once you log in, you're going to get to the dashboard, and you see here on the bottom right, there's a triangle. You just simply click on that right triangle below in the action column. It takes you to the training. And then you click on this big white button here, and that's going to give you access to the participant guide. And again, we're going through this quickly, but we will walk you through this. You download the participant guide, and you can either print the participant guide, or you can use the participant guide as an interactive PDF and simply type in your answers on the PDF. But here's what we want you to do. We want you and your spouse to fill in the blanks. We want each of you to do it individually. This is how you can get the most out of the training, not the wife or not the husband alone, but both of you. And then notice here on the left-hand side, you're going to get a progress bar. This shows you how you're doing on the training. So let's say something happens, you need to leave or cut the training short, no problem. You mark your place, you exit out. The next day or next week, you go back in and you can continue on where you left off. Horace said, this training helped me understand how important it is to forgive after you have been badly hurt. This course can help couples stay together and work through their problems. So why wait another day? Start building a stronger and healthier marriage today. It's really important that you start. In this course, you will learn proven principles used by many couples to build a stronger and healthier marriage. Edwin said, the greatest benefit of this course was learning about personal adjustments that I can make to improve the quality of my relationship. So again, here's what you get. You get discounted online courses. You get the course participant guide and bonus materials in each week. Bonus number 1, you get discounted rates for successive and future courses. Bonus number 2, you get a free 1-year PDF devotional. And we've added another bonus. Special bonus number 3, you get free marriage coaching sessions. So we begin this training, we talk with you and your spouse, and then we plan on free marriage coaching sessions before you begin and as you work through the training. So that's all included, and that's what you get. And again, you have our try it out 100% risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. If for whatever reason you're not satisfied, you send us an email and we refund you your money. So the question is, why should we start today? Great question. First of all, our family, your family, deserves your best, our best. Doing nothing new has not helped us at all. Isn't that true? Investing in our marriage is a much better investment than booking another vacation. Now is the best time to start. Building a stronger marriage is a priority for us. We can make the time to finish this course. Listen, we all make time for what's important. We all make time to eat. Why? Eating is important. We all make time to take a shower. Why? Taking a shower is important. We all make time for the things that are important to us. The future stability and success of our children is directly affected by the health of our marriage. And lastly, divorce is long, very long, and divorce is expensive, very expensive. So again, the 3 C's to start building your marriage: you need a commitment. Let's do this. Let's do something new. Let's do something different to invest in the most important relationship that we have outside of God, the relationship with one another. The second thing is that we need a coach. We need someone who has walked through this valley and gone out through the other side. We need somebody to coach us, to encourage us, to help us see things as they are. And number 3, we need a course of action. We need a plan. We need an intentional plan to help us work through building our marriage. Now, it's time to make your marriage thrive. You can pick any one of these. We encourage you to start with the essential course. If you're not sure, it's only 6 monthly installments of $297. Or you can say, no, Marcel, we're going to go through the entire course. We're going to go through the masterclass, and we want to start today. Well, go to imaginemobilelearning.com, buy online courses, and you can start building your marriage today. Again, go to our website, select Buy Now, and then check your email over the next 24 to 48 hours. Start investing in your marriage today. Here's a quote that I'd like you to think about as we close our time together. You can make excuses or you can start building your marriage, but you can't do both. That's worth repeating. You can make excuses or you can start building your marriage, but you can't do both. Listen, I'm honored that you've listened and watched this webinar, but I want to encourage you to do something productive. Do something that will strengthen your marriage today. Start building today. Start investing in your marriage. Thank you for your time, and God bless you and your spouse.